Okay, we're recording. We're live on Facebook, and tonight we've got a special video conversation that Ted and I are going to be talking about Epic October. So, hey Ted, how's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
Oh, doing good. I'm up here in Logan, Utah, so a little different location, but decided to take a little break after more of our races being canceled.
Yeah. Hopefully it's a little cooler up there.
Yeah, that would be good. So, this last round of race cancellations, I know you've been through this.
Yep.
St. George just got canceled. And so we were talking about other things to do. And really, the video conversations we've been having with the pro triathlete like Laura Siddell and even the other members, something that's really impressed me is that everyone seems to get involved with triathlon for a challenge,
Yep.
and they sign up for a race and then they do the challenge, and that's great. And that's how I got into it as well.
It's the carrot.
But we don't need a race to challenge ourselves.
Right.
And in reality, we have this desire to train and then see what we can do. And we do use these races as a way to test that out. But given 2020 is sort of a lost season, I think we can turn it around and take control over 2020 and actually create our own epic adventures and challenges. So I know you and I talked about it, and you're already thinking this way as well. And tonight we're going to share some of what you're doing, what I'm going to do, and then encourage others to come up with their own epic event that they can do, and hopefully time it so they do it in October.
Yeah. And, obviously in our neck of the woods, October is, in my opinion, the best month.
Yeah.
We have the best as far as weather, predictability of wind. I think it's a really good time. And honestly, it's my favorite time of the year to race as well.
Yeah.
I feel like I lose a little bit of fitness usually during the summer because it's, of the heat here, and I can start building up again in the fall. I've always raced well then. And honestly, like I kind of had in the back of my mind that, there will be some October races that we'd be able to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of started thinking like, well, why do I race?
Yeah.
Like what's the motivation? Is it to go to work and tell my friends like, hey, I did an Ironman? They honestly could care less. We work together so we can talk about it.
That's right.
I mean, it's for us, right? It's for me, especially at the point where like most of the triathlon members they've done a triathlon.
Yeah.
Like they're all triathletes. They've all hit that bar. At least most of them have. And so, what can we do to, in this time to kind of figure something out for ourselves, and not a virtual race, but a challenge. And, I started reading some people's challenges from other tri clubs, and, hey, I'm going to run 10K every day for 10 days, or I'm going to run every day for a month, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that. And one of the things that in my reading and talking to people was, once they say it out loud in a public forum, they're way more likely to do it and to set it to train for. Right. And it's the same I think it's the same with a race. You mentioned it. We sign up for the race, and that's our carrot, our check. Right. And we tell everybody, hey, just so you know, I'm going to Louisville and I'm going to do the Ironman. Then people know, right? And that holds you accountable. So what we started talking about was creating this with the Tri Club, this Epic October, where you could come up with your own thing, and it can be epic to you. If it literally is, I'm going to run a 5K every Saturday, and that's epic to you, that's epic to you. Or I know there's people that have not ridden the Red Rock Loop. I'm going to ride the Red Rock Loop, and I'm going to train to do it. And the idea is that to set something, we've got 6 weeks till October. Set something in October. If you go to the end of October, you got 10 weeks. Set something, train for it, and then hopefully accomplish it, and maybe not accomplish it, right? Like I'm thinking about a couple of things which we'll talk about that I may not actually be able to make, and that's the cool part, right? It's kind of like my first triathlon. I didn't know if I was going to be able to finish. Yeah. My first half, I didn't know if I'd be able to finish. My first full Ironman, didn't know if I'd be able to finish, and that that's the, you know, that's the thing that kind of drives you forward. So that's kind of where we're at with this.
And I think that's great because and you emphasize this, it's relative. You
Yep.
know, epic for you is different for me, and it's different for everybody. But trying to figure out what that challenge is that will help motivate us to train, which is why we do it. You know, and you know, we need to take back 2020, take
Yep.
control over it. And right now, we don't need the race. Even though we love racing, we love supporting our races. Right now, we can try to take control over what we have left for 2020 and take on some neat challenges.
And no injury fees.
That's right. That's right.
Right? And you, just so you know, you can go online and order a medal if you want for yourself, right? You can get custom design a medal if that makes you happy. But yeah, it doesn't, you know, think
Okay,
about it, like an Ironman, it's $800.
I think that is important to have something. Now,
Yes.
I actually, at the beginning of the year, I always get a bracelet that,
Okay.
you know, this is a leather bracelet and I get it engraved with whatever race I'm doing as sort of a reminder to me, especially when I'm having those hard days, you know, where you're like, why am I doing this? Not even training wise, but even work wise, or, you know, those are, but, you know, you say, okay, well, this is why, okay, this is what I'm, you know, really focused on is for the year is this event. And so I do think that having some type of totem or something.
Yeah, you know, we maybe for at the low end we could do a digital badge through
Yeah,
the, you know,
yeah,
we could have. I think Colleen does some digital artwork. Create a
that's
digital
great.
badge for our members on Facebook, at least when they complete the challenge. So, anyways, let's get into talk about some of these challenges that
Okay,
we're planning.
let's
So,
start with you.
okay, so I have two, but we'll start out with Everesting. So Everesting is a thing, for those of you that don't know, that has kind of become popular. And we did over the summer, we did a 7 summit series where we tried, you know, to, you know, get people to climb on their bicycles or running in a week up the 7 tallest summits on, actually the altitude of the 7 tallest summits on each of the continents. I did not complete it. I tried. I made it through week 5, and then that was it. We had 2 members actually make it, which was awesome. But I was, you know, honestly, my idea for that 7 Summit series came from Everesting. And Phil Guyman, who has his own a YouTube channel and is the kind of the guy that goes and steals all the best KOMs in the world. He set the world record for Everesting, which was, I can't remember this number, it was like 10 hours or something like that. And then within a week, someone else broke it. And now I don't know how many pros have done it. And because once again, they didn't have much else to do. So they were trying to break it over and over and over again. But here's the general idea is you pick a Strava segment and to be legit, and there's actually an Everesting website, which I'll share with everybody in a minute, but it has to be on a Strava segment. That's the one thing. So, and here's the thing with the actual Everesting challenge. And I think it's something like, at one point when I was reading it, it was between 7,000 and 8,000 people have ever done it done it on their bicycle in one, and it has to be in one ride. So I'll kind of go through the rules, but so it has to be on a Strava segment. You need to go up and down the Strava segment, however many times to get to 29,029 feet.
And this length of the segment doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. You could choose one that's 1,000 feet of climbing and you have to do it 29 times.
It's the elevation that you've got to get.
Right. Now, the cool thing is if there happens to be a little climb on your way down, that counts as well. So it's net elevation. It cannot be a looped course. You cannot say, I'm going to go up this climb and I'm come down, I'm going to go up this climb and come down. It has to be the same climb.
Okay.
So that's another thing. It has to be, once again, it has to be a Strava segment. And obviously it has to be collected on a GPS unit. It has to be done on a bike that's not assisted, you know, like an e-bike or something like that. So my biggest day of climbing was like, I think 12,000 feet. That's my biggest ever. It's a lot. That's a big day. It was when we were together in Austria.
Oh yeah.
And I stayed the weekend afterwards, and I did a couple monster climbs in one day. But so for me, that's like, I'm going to be going 18,000 or no, 17,000 feet more climbing in one day than I've ever done.
Yeah.
So I've kind of mapped it out a little bit, and I was going to share with the group what are my tentative plan is.
Yeah. No, that's great.
And then as I do that, I'm going to also say that, you know, the other thing with this epic challenge is, because it's up to you, you can choose your own date,
Yep.
you know, and you can bail out. Like
Mhm.
I've already said to you, I'm going to do this, and I have a tentative date in mind. But if it's raining,
Yeah.
if it's horrible wind,
Yeah.
if it's going to be miserable, I don't care. I'll do it the next weekend.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even though I'm going to put a lot of effort into this, I'm going to tell people, you know, how I'm going to kind of manage this, or what I think how I'm going to manage it right now. But there's going to be a lot going into it, but I'm not going to go suffer either. Like, this is not Sufferfest. This is an epic, something
Yeah.
to do something epic. And I'm already, honestly, I'm nervous I'm not going to make it.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
I'm really nervous that I'm going to make it like 20,000 feet and be like, I just cannot pedal another stroke.
yeah. Well, and it's the repetition.
Yeah.
It's not like if you started at the base and went up, which obviously would still be crazy, but it's doing it over and over again. So I want to hear some of the stats on.
Yeah, because the down, it's actually, honestly, it's the going down and then starting again and coming back up is the problem.
Okay.
Right. So we'll show you. Let's show you where my route is. So let me
Okay.
get to this. All right. So I'm going to share. I don't know. Did you allow me to share? Oh, you've disabled.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Let's do that. Sure. Okay.
Okay. Share and share this one. Okay, so this was a ride I did last weekend, and this was going up 95, then up Lee Canyon,
Yep.
and then across, and then down Kyle Canyon. I really did it because I wanted to get this area in here. So basically, from the base to the top,
Okay.
see where I'd have to turn around and how to divide it out.
Yeah.
And basically, what I figured out is if I start at the base and go to basically where there's a little turn down where it goes, it's a tiny little bit of going downhill.
Yeah.
If I go to there, it's about 4,000 feet.
Okay.
If I do that 7 times, I'm getting close. I'm at 28,000.
Oh boy.
Right? You've got to go a little bit more. So I'm still trying to
the
figure
whole
out
section again, right?
well, I'm trying to figure out if I should make my segment a little longer and get that little downhill. Remember I said that it counts if you, on your descent, if you ascend on your ascent, it counts.
Yeah.
So I'm still trying to work out exactly, but I'm pretty sure this is going to be my location. I'm going to do it. The one thing that that I listened to some other podcasts on this, they talked about it, was you want your descent to be as straight as possible. You don't want to be thinking about braking and turning, and like, you want to just kind of, you know, be in a relatively safe, good paved road with limited traffic. And in October, there's very little traffic on this road in October because it's before ski season, kind of the end of, you know, people getting, you know, going out to the mountains.
Okay.
So anyways, that was my thought. I'll throw this out to the members. I'm up for suggestions as well. But there's some key variables, right? Like you want the road to be good, limited traffic. You want as much climbing as you can get in a shortest amount of time as well. You don't want to be going up and down, up and down, up and down, because the trick to this is it's a lot of miles as well. So it's about 13 miles one way, then 13 miles back down. So it's 26 miles a loop. I got my calculator here because I actually have not figured this out yet. So 26 miles, actually it's more like, it's actually more like 14. So sorry, it's 28 times, I said 7, I think, 7 loops. So it's 196 miles of riding as well.
Wait, this Everesting attempt, it's 196 miles?
Yes. So John, you want to get your 200 miler in?
Yeah. my epic challenge of doing 200 is not sounding very epic now. So,
Okay, so now here's some other things. You cannot sleep. You can
ah,
you can stop. You
okay.
can sit down. You could rest. You can change your shoes.
Yeah, yeah,
You can change your jersey. You can do anything you want.
yeah.
The only thing is you can't sleep.
Okay, so do you? I listened to a couple podcasts on people planning this out, and
Yep.
they used a website
Yep.
to
And then the website is, I actually have it here.
figure
It's
out. Yeah, okay, that's the
eversting.cc.
calculator there.
Yep.
Okay, yep, yep.
So this gives you the rules. These are the ride rules. And then
Okay.
there's actually a calculator at the bottom.
Yep.
And so the calculator, you just put in your Strava segment and then
Uh,
it'll calculate it for you.
you're going to build your own segment.
Yes. And I'm going to call it like Ted's Everest segment or something like that.
Nice.
And so, and then once you do it, then you submit. There's a submit button here that you submit to this website that you did it. There's other things. There's half, which I'm actually planning to do it half as well in
Okay.
September. I'm going to see what that feels like to do the, basically half of an attempt. There also is, so for our members to know, there is virtual. So it's Everesting, virtual Everesting. For this, it has to be done on Zwift.
Okay.
And and I think it actually, I don't know if there's a new climb on Zwift. I don't know if that one will count, but and the first time I really heard about this was actually people doing it on Zwift. And the good thing on Zwift is when you go down the hill, you can get off your bike.
Yeah, that's what I heard is that you can change, you still need to pedal, but it's not.
No, you don't even have to pedal.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
No, because the way down the hill is like freewheel. You literally can get off your bike. It takes about, I can't remember, like 20 minutes to go down the hill.
Oh, okay.
So you have time, you could eat, you could do all these things. Whereas if you're doing it outside, you have to ride your bike,
Okay.
both up and down. So my plan as it's going right now is, number one is to recruit people to ride with me.
Yeah.
And so, I've got and maybe I'll use this as a platform for that. If anyone's interested in riding, I'm going to be going about 180 watts is kind of my goal, 170, 180 watts,
Yeah.
at least in the beginning. And we'll see how that goes.
Okay.
And that's kind of my goal. Because the idea is not to go up. I'm not trying to do this I'm not trying to be like the fastest person ever to do this. I literally just want to finish.
All right. Unshare your screen.
Okay.
Unless you want to show the Strava some more.
Yeah, I do actually want to show.
Okay.
No, I don't. I'm going to unshare.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So part of the rules are you can ride with a group.
Yep.
So having someone ride with you, and you and I know that is extremely helpful.
Yep. I think doing this by yourself would be, oh man, that would be so hard. Well, you could do it, but like, I think mentally,
Yeah.
the hours this is going to take,
Right.
I'm kind of calculating maybe 14 hours.
Yeah. Right.
Ish.
Yeah.
Once again, I'm going to start probably because it's in October, the days are a little shorter. I'm going to start before dawn.
Yeah.
Probably same, something like 5 or 6 in the morning ish. I haven't figured out those details quite yet. Once I do my half attempt, that's going to let me know a little bit more about, what it's going to feel like when I get there. But so, yeah, I'm trying to find people and I've got some people kind of lined up to ride at least one of the ascents with me. And go ahead.
Some people may remember the Death Ride up in Tahoe.
Yes.
You haven't done that though,
No,
right?
and they still do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I did that, and there was how many passes? 5 passes. That was hard. And I remember the last pass, and that was up a pass, down a pass, up a pass, down a pass, up a pass, down a pass. That was a big challenge. That was 15,000 feet of climbing.
Yeah. Oh, this is monster.
Yeah.
This is a monster.
On that was a supported ride, obviously. So there are different aid stations. So you're going to just park your car and you're going to stock your car up with lots of stuff.
Well, I'm not exactly going to do it quite like that, but I'm going to have stuff. I may have two cars because my wife's coming out.
Yeah.
So I want somebody at the top of the climb
Yeah. Okay.
and someone at the bottom of the climb because I don't want to carry anything extra.
No. And you want to be able to eat and drink going down.
Yeah. Actually,
Hmm.
I don't mind eating and drinking on the way up, to be honest with you,
Okay.
because I'm not going to be, I don't think I'm going to be out of breath at that,
No.
power. It actually may help me mentally to be eating.
That's right. You gotta pace it. So
Yeah.
let's talk bike.
Yeah.
Matt actually posted on Facebook, are you building a bike or what are you doing to your bike?
So I am going to ride right now. I have a road bike and it is a very light bike.
Yeah.
It is,
And weight is everything here.
it is extremely light.
Mhm.
I don't know. I've got to read more into the rules and find out if I can switch bikes.
Oh,
Because if I can switch bikes, I might do the time trial bike on the way down, have somebody drive it down for me, drive my road bike back down for me.
yeah.
Because then I could change position
Yeah.
for the descent, which actually might feel good.
Well, maybe put clip-ons.
Yep. Or clip-ons. Exactly.
Even stubby clip-ons, just
Yeah.
short ones.
Just something. Exactly. But even I was thinking just the position change
Yeah, right.
might be good. And I was even thinking maybe I would do an ascent on my time trial bike
Yeah.
just purely for position change.
Mhm.
I know it'll be slower. It's quite,
Yeah.
it's 5 pounds heavier. But so there's that. So I'm toying around with a few ideas as far as like, where to put, my wife, where to put
Yeah.
maybe a stash as well. Right. Because
Yeah.
you can, once again, you can stop anytime. You can stop
Sure.
halfway up the climb. You don't have to you can stop, stand around for a few minutes, have a
Mhm.
bite to eat.
Mhm.
Because once again, it's for me, it's not about doing it in any particular time.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's literally about doing it. Like I envision basically like in my mind, a lunch break of like maybe 20 minutes of just chill,
Yeah.
maybe get my roller out, like foam roller.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's not a race. Like
No, that's right. And I remember when I did the
challenge.
death ride, it was that. It was stop, we ate. Well, I was doing it on my own with, I didn't know anyone else. And we ate, drank, at an aid station. And that was good to do that because it's a long day. That was 129 miles at 15,000. And again, you're doubling almost both of those.
Yeah.
That's a big challenge. So are you doing any special training right now?
I am trying on every weekend
Yeah.
to climb.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going, even this Sunday, I'm going back out there and I'm going to do even more altitude. I'm going to try and do 10,000 feet this Sunday in one day.
Okay.
And just doing the Everest challenge, the weekly one, like when I was on my little hiatus, I went up Mount Hood twice in one day. I went up Mount Diablo twice in one day, just because I kind of had this in my mind that this was going to be something I was going to do.
When did you start coming up with this idea? When did you say, I want to do this?
It was probably the beginning of summer when I started realizing all the races were going to, and then I started thinking about, okay, when could I do it? Where could I do it?
Mm-hmm.
Because ultimately, like, this is not the best place to do it. The best place to do it would be at sea level.
Right.
Starting
Right.
at sea level. I'm starting at 3,300 feet.
Yeah.
Right. So that is still in the back of my mind, is like, maybe I should just go down to California and do it with Phil Guyman, because that's how he did it. He did it in California.
Okay.
Which makes sense too, right? You find somewhere that has always has a tailwind, which near the ocean, there's places you can find that are always tailwind.
Right.
And so that's still, it's in the back of my mind that I might do that, because
okay,
honestly,
that's your epic challenge.
I can do anything I want.
You can change. And I think that's an important message for people to understand is you got to build the parameters that, one, it's a challenge, but then two, it's within reach.
Yeah.
So now I'm curious, I always think of you as one of the fastest cyclists in town. And, you've always been going after speed. So what is it that drew you to this climb challenge, which isn't a speed thing?
So the truth is, John, I mean, I'm a little bit maybe guilty of this, is that I don't train speed. I rarely do intervals. You'd be hard pressed to find me out on a ride outside doing intervals.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do race on Zwift.
Hmm.
That's pretty much my only speed. And, once a week I get on a Zwift race, a small one. But I tell you what, on Zwift, I am not fast at all. Like my sprinting is horrible.
Interesting.
Right? I'm fast for long distances.
Yeah. Right.
Right. Like on a Zwift race, I always lose at the end. Always. Because I can only put out like maybe 600 watts for 15 seconds. The guys in my group are putting out 900 to 1,000 watts for the last 15 seconds.
That's a Wingate. That's 600
Exactly.
is fantastic, but yeah.
But we've been training, like you and I have been training to do long distance riding.
That's
like
right.
I want to know, like when I'm out and when I'm training, and this is a totally another topic, my goal is to see how fast I can ride 2.5 hours for and still be able to run a half marathon.
Yeah, right. That's right.
Like that's my ultimate goal.
Yeah.
My ultimate goal is not, how fast I can do, a 10K time trial. Right. And it is different. It's completely different.
Yeah.
So anyways, that's Everesting. Let's talk about, unless you have any other questions that and by the way, John, at any point, and this is other things, if people have advice for me, you have advice or other questions, I'd be more than happy. Because honestly, I don't even know if other people in Las Vegas have tried this. If other people have tried it and they, maybe they've done that route and they're like, oh, you shouldn't do that route. Maybe you should try this. I'm totally up for suggestions.
Well, and I think that's the other thing that we'll launch with this whole Epic October is a regular Zoom room that we meet up as a group for anyone looking to do an Epic October challenge. And we could just chat about it and toss around some different ideas. And maybe there's something that we hadn't thought about. But I am interested in some of the gear that you're going to be using. So let me just quickly go to tires and wheels and tire pressure. What are you doing?
Okay, so I am definitely. I only have for my road bike. I only have one set of wheels.
All right,
ones that actually came with it.
Yeah.
So that's done. They're like 40 millimeter. They're carbon fiber. They're nice wheels. The Rovels. They're really nice. The tires, I'm going with the Vittoria Corsa Speeds, because they have the absolute lowest rolling resistance.
Yeah.
And that's on this, it's critical because there's a lot of rolling resistance that you don't think about, especially when you're climbing. What I was reading is actually there may be more rolling resistance climbing than at any other point. So those latex tubes, for sure.
Will you carry a flat kit?
No.
Okay.
Because I don't want to.
You'll take your cell phone and call if you need to.
That's the problem. Is there's no cell service on some of the area, but I'm going to have my flat kit with whoever's riding with me.
Okay. Well, okay. So we'll get to mine in a bit, but I had thought about getting that Garmin satellite phone.
Yes, my wife and I were literally talking about that today, about doing something like that.
But
then I thought that's probably heavier than my flat kit.
I know there's a mini one and then there's a full size one. And so, maybe we need to, maybe after the call, we can share some notes on what we've been looking at there, because I'm pretty close to pulling the plug on that.
So those are some of the ideas. I have toyed with the idea of going to a 1-by system on my bike.
Just for weight, right?
Just purely for weight.
Yeah, because you would drop a front gear and you would drop your front derailleur.
And just leave it in the small ring, basically. Just set it up small ring only.
Yeah.
Because really, I did the climb. There's no big ring at all. And once in the way down, I'm not really planning on pedaling much. I'm going to soft pedal, keep my legs loose. That's it. So I was thinking about that. I'm thinking about changing to a larger cassette in the back. We talked about this, going to like a 30 tooth, and more for drivetrain efficiency. Like this gets into stuff, but the more you cross chain, the less drivetrain efficiency you have.
Yeah.
So if you go to like a 30 where the next cog's a 28, the 28 will be in better alignment. So there's that. I will reapply the lubricant to my bike at least twice.
Yeah.
And I'm going with wax lubricant.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So all of these, you're right. Like all of these little things
Yep.
play a
All the
role. As
time.
far as tire pressure, um, based off of the tire pressure calculator that I used and some of the research we've done, it'll be between 80 and 85,
Okay.
but it's going to change throughout the day because as heat, we did enough work on this. As the day heats up, the pressure changes,
Yep.
but I'll probably start between 80 and 85
Okay.
PSI. And I will be running, oh man, I have to order some more tires anyways. 28 mil, I'd like to go 28 mil wide tires.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they might be a little bit heavier, I think the rolling resistance will be, yeah.
So I was wondering, with your rear cassette,
Yeah,
is there any advantage to even going with only 4 gears?
there is. So I
Yeah.
read about this as well.
Yep.
But to do that, I am not mechanically, I don't think, inclined enough to be able to do that because you have to reprogram because it's a DI2.
Yeah. Right. Right.
There's ways to do it. I think it's all, but most of it would have to be a mechanical shifting bike. So I think because my DI2 is 11 speed, I think I'm stuck with that.
Okay. All right.
But you're right. Like it would be best probably just have 4 gears
Yeah.
and make sure and a 1x setup with the best possible alignment.
Right. Right.
But the honest truth is I probably won't even go to the 1x because
Oh.
it's a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
And for the amount of advantage. The one thing I will tell you is I'm not going to try and lose weight personally to do this.
Okay.
I want to be, I think that for this one in particular, you need to be strong and robust. And I think the strength and being more robust will pay off way more than being 2 or 3 pounds lighter. That's personally, I've thought a lot about it. That's why I'm approaching it.
So this is neat. I mean, it's a lot of planning, but that's sort of
like a triathlon.
That's
Yeah.
right. And that's the fun part is, trying to create a plan. And it's not only the training, but it's all these other little things that you have to manage.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of it is management. And honestly, John, like I'm scared. Like it's a good feeling though. It's a good feeling to be, I'm not scared. I'm nervous.
Right.
Right. But if I fail, I fail. It's like I failed at other things in life. Like I've tried to win a race and didn't win. That's
right.
That's a failure.
Well,
And this is the same thing. But the journey to get there is what I'm looking for.
Yep. And that makes the finish line that much more meaningful. And I remember one time I was getting ready, we're in line to start an Ironman race and someone said, "Are you nervous?" I said, "Well, we're always nervous because we don't know if you can do it. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know, if you're going to get a flat, you don't know if there's going to be mechanical or if you're going to have something happen physiologically or, but that's why we do it because it's a challenge. And then that makes, crossing that finish line that much more meaningful, no matter.
Even sweeter. Yeah. So, all right. So let's talk about yours.
Okay, well, I really respect what you've got there, and it'll be fun to talk with you about it some more. And so on my challenge, I've always wanted to do this, but I've just never had the right time in the calendar to do it because there's always something on the horizon. One, I haven't gone up Mount Charleston, I haven't hiked it. So that's something I've always wanted to do. But I've always wanted to do sort of a hard triathlon here, similar to what the Norseman concept is like, the extreme triathlon. And, thinking back to the old days of Silverman, independent Ironman, where that was billed as the world's toughest triathlon at the time. That was a great challenge, and I was glad to have done that. I think I did twice, so it was fun. So my challenge is I'm going to go down and swim 2.4 miles off of Willow Beach in the Colorado River, and I'll have a kayaker with me. And part of the challenge of that is, one, you've got a little bit of current. It's not that big of a deal, but it's 55-degree temp water.
That's
so
the challenge.
Yeah, that's cold. So I'll actually wear my thermal wetsuit and a thermal cap for the swim. And then I'm going to get out of the swim, and I'm going to get on my bike and I'm going to bike up to Mount Charleston. And that is about 10,000 feet of climbing. And that'll be interesting. So I shared the route with you, and you helped me with some ideas on where to go on the north side of town, because I don't bike up that way that much. So that'll be fun. I'll go mostly through Lake Mead, and then I'll go up North Shore Boulevard a bit, and then I'll go up Lakeshore Drive, and then I'll go to North Shore Drive, and then I'll make a left onto what turns into Lake Mead Drive that pops out on the north side of town. And then I'll make my way up to Lee Canyon.
Kyle.
The south one, yeah.
Kyle Canyon.
Right, Kyle Canyon. And then I'll go up to the lodge. And then at that point, I'm going to turn around and then go back to the resort. And that should be 112 miles from Willow Beach. So we'll see how that works out. And then I'm going to start at the resort, and then I'm going to do the climb to Mount Charleston. So I'm going to go up the north pass, and then come down the south, and then finish up at the resort, which is at that intersection of 158, the route 159 Island lead. Yeah. Now, what I am doing, I'm actually going to do this next weekend, and I'm going to call it sort of a test event. I do want to do this as a one continuous attempt, but this next weekend, I'm going to, after the bike ride, I'm going to stay at the resort, and then I'm going to start the run in the morning, because I haven't done this before. And I'm curious as to what it's like doing the Charleston climb at night, because, the bike ride could take me 8, maybe even 9 hours. And which, means if I'm starting to swim at 6-ish, then I'm getting up to start the run at late afternoon. And we know that takes anywhere from 4 to 8 hours to do that loop. So that means I would be at least coming down in the dark. And I don't know the route enough to know if having a headlamp is practical. So that's my epic challenge. So I'll do it as a test event this next weekend, and then see what happens at that point, and then see if I can maybe try it as a one-day event at some point. I just need to figure out the logistics of doing that. So Laura's going to be my support, and we've got some spots picked out along the way to meet up and fill up and change some gear, things like that.
So my question to you is, you might be the first person ever to go hypothermic, hypothermic in one day.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Oh man, it's really, you're getting really cold, and then it's going to get really hot. And that's an unusual thing to have that big of change. I don't know of any conventional triathlon that would go from that cold of water to that hot of day. I can't think of one on the calendar that I would even know of.
No, you're right. And when I did Norseman was about the same water temp.
Yep.
But we got out and it was humid, and so it wasn't.
And it was cold, right?
Yeah, that's right. So maybe the name of this will end up being something like Fire and Ice.
Yeah.
Or Ice and Fire, whichever way. But I think that's sort of the fun. That's part of what attracted me to doing this as well, is having that extreme on both ends. So
yeah. And I know what you've done to train for this, because you were training, unfortunately, for an Ironman basically all year. You've been basically prepping, and race after race has been canceled. So, but this has obviously moved up the timeline a little bit, because St. George was not for 3 or 4 more weeks.
It would have been the 19th.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were, training for that originally for May. And so it built up a good, I was already working on pretty good base at that point. And then, the second time it was supposed to be the 19th. And so really, I had a good base, at this point. I still would have done a really big load the next 2 or 3 weeks to get ready for this.
Yeah.
So it's a little early, but I'm not going to race this.
Yeah, exactly.
Do it. And that's my goal, is to, cover the distance. And like you, I'm a little bit worried, especially of the climb to Charleston.
Yeah.
Because I haven't done that, and I've heard it's pretty brutal by itself. So,
Well, I think that the Charleston climb, you know, it honestly is, it's tough. And, you know, I've not done it, but everyone I've talked to said it's difficult. The footing is rough. There are some very sharp, steep cliffs that if you're not paying attention, you could take one wrong step and be in some peril. So yeah, I mean, I actually think that the swim and the bike for you is just like a check mark. I believe that. I know you, but that the unknown is that, you know, jog / hike.
yeah, right.
I think that's what's going to be. Because how long is that loop?
26.2 starting at, well, it's going to be right around 26. So I'll get to 26.2 starting at the resort and finishing at the resort. So I'll have to do 5-6 miles on the road before getting the trail, and then finish coming back down that road as well.
Yeah.
So, but it'll be downhill. I don't know. Hopefully that'll be helpful.
So did you ever do, back in the day, the track club had the Notch Run?
No. Wait, which one?
It was called the Notch Run. And they also did the Bristol Cone Trail Run. So I did the Notch Run a couple of times. It's the running up the last 4 miles of the Lee Canyon side.
Yeah.
And all I can tell you is at that altitude, trying to run was absolutely miserable.
Oh yeah.
I can remember, and I was in good running shape, and I can remember, like, you know, at a point saying, you know, I got to walk. And I stopped and walked on a 4 mile run. I stopped and walked, and I still couldn't catch my breath. So I was like, well, I might as well just run. it was so bad.
Oh, wow.
So I can tell you that's the other thing that's in here, right? Like you've not, at least recently, as far as what I've known, exercised above 8,000 feet for an extended period of time.
Right.
Which is also, you know, that's going to be very tough. And once again, I think this is awesome. It's once again an epic thing. But I think the run even up from the lodge to where you're going to start the trail is going to be a very slow jog just because of that.
I think it is. Yeah, I think it will be.
Yeah.
Now that's partly, you know, starting. You know, I'll stay the night at the resort, so I've got the room booked already, and so I'll try to just get up early, and then I'll actually carry just a light amount of fluid in that first part, and then I'm going to meet Laura at the trailhead to go up the North Pass, and then refill at that point and take a little bit more weight at that stage. So
they just put in a new water tap there.
Oh yeah, oh nice.
So once again, Laura's going to be there. You don't need it, but
okay.
There's
no. And equipment-wise, I actually purchased some poles.
Yep.
So Laura's done this before, and she said, "Yeah, and you definitely want to have poles." So
definitely,
I'm gonna go with that.
And then for those of you that don't know, I teach a sports pharmacology class. EPO potentially. You give yourself some erythropoietin.
Yeah, right.
For those of you that don't know, that's what all the cyclists were dying of in the 90s, because it increases the amount of red blood cells your kidneys produce.
Yeah.
Hopefully not that, just maybe a blood transfusion going on the night before.
Yeah.
The only problem with this whole attempt was we couldn't fit any more red blood cells in him. He was full.
Oh man.
Well, honestly, I'm so excited for you to try this. I know we talked about this, I think 2 years ago.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
Because we were talking about maybe we could actually host an event like the Tri Club to do something crazy like this.
Yeah.
And I think we both agreed it might just be too crazy. But I think at that time we were only talking about like racing, but we were talking about racing just to the peak.
Well, that's right. That's right. Yeah. Now, but that's why this is a perfect year to do it.
Exactly.
And we gotta take 2020 back, and we gotta get a little bit more control over 2020, because we've lost control with with all the races.
I'm tired. Yeah, I'm tired of people saying, "Oh, I just want to forget 2020." I'm like, okay, why? Like, there's still things we can do
that
are within our control.
Mhm.
that can actually make this an awesome year.
And
And
it takes us back to the origin of why we were doing this in the first place, is we're
yeah,
doing it for a challenge.
yeah,
And yeah, you know, like we talked about in the beginning, we want to support our races and, you know, our race companies, uh, this is a good time to sort of reset and remember why we got into this in the first place.
absolutely, absolutely.
Well, this has been fun.
Yeah. The one thing I'm going to add is on the Facebook page we put up something about the time trial,
Yes,
and I think we've had 17 people RSVP since yesterday.
awesome.
So
Yeah,
I'm super excited about that. So those of you that are listening, if you haven't RSVP'd, please have a look at that. That's going to be on Labor Day. We'll be riding the Red Rock time trial course again for an unofficial event. So if you're looking for
it's the
something to
same
do,
segment we did though on New Year's Day.
same as exactly as New Year's Day, and then I think we did it in March. Was it in February? We did it again.
Oh yeah,
And
that's
then
right.
we did as part of the we did the duathlon as well, and it was the ride part of the duathlon.
And Strava keeps all those times, and so
Yep.
it'd be a nice way to even compare some of the fitness over the year.
Yeah,
So
I actually think that may be one of the best ways to see your fitness is like do the
yeah,
exact same thing like 7-8 months later.
yeah,
This is now from New Year's. This is 9 months later,
right.
and just to kind of see where you're at. I know at New Year's I was in not good shape back then, and so I'd like to see like what all this training and riding and running has it done anything for me, or if I'm just the same? That'll be depressing.
Yeah,
So yeah, this is great, and once again, we're gonna create this Zoom regular meeting for people that are gonna try this. There is the Epic October heading on the Tri-Club page now.
yeah,
So if you want to post what you're gonna do, what you want to do, that would be awesome.
yeah.
Remember, it's all about you. You don't have to
That's right.
do the things that John and I are doing. And
Yeah,
honestly, there are people that do double Everests.
that's right.
So if you want to do a double Everest and outdo me, please feel free. I have no interest in that whatsoever. Oh, on the double Everest, the rule is you're allowed 2 hours of sleep in
Yeah.
between the
Okay.
two attempts, just in case anyone wants to know.
Well, likewise, there's 2-3 day triathlon events.
Yep. Yeah.
And,
Ultraman.
yeah,
Yep.
those are, but they're everything's relative, and yeah, and maybe folks aren't sure what they want to try. Well, if we have a Zoom call and we just start tossing ideas around, sometimes you can start gravitating towards something. And I know you've got another one we'll need to talk about. Maybe we can
Yeah.
get on another call. So
Yeah. We'll see if I can. I may have to just concentrate on this one. We'll see.
yeah,
Maybe that'll be an epic November.
yes, right.
So,
And
all right. Well, thanks, John. That was great.
yeah, no, this is fun. So, all right, everyone. Well, watch for more details on Epic October, and Ted and I will keep you posted on what we're doing, and maybe we get some people out to it's definitely to help you on the Everstream. So that
Yeah.
would be great.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Ted.